Hi and welcome, I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the Monday painting video. The Monday painting video is basically a painting video, but the models that get painted are based on last week's Weekly Wednesday, which is a Q&A. I show you guys a host of models and you guys vote on which ones you want to see in the Monday painting video. Whichever has the most votes gets painted. In event of a tie, like today, we do a dice roll. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a minute. Just realised before I do dice roll, you'll be able to see this big leg in the background. I'm not going to tell you what model this is for, but I will give you a clue. This is for a very big angry man. There's a bit more of him there as well. But anyway, that's a Let's Build that should be up very soon. So what got the most votes this week was the Venerable Dreadnought, 2 votes, and the Chronomancer had 2 votes. So because it's equal voting, we're going to do a dice roll. 1 to 3 is the Chronomancer, 4 to 6 is the Venerable Dreadnought. It's a 6, so it's Venerable Dreadnought, which is going to be very interesting because I'm going to get the airbrush out and have a go on the airbrush. And they've got his weapon parts as well to paint. His weapons are all magnetized, so they stick on him. Yeah, not perfectly stuck on, but you get the gist. Did I just... No, I didn't. No, I did. Oh, dear me. The magnets just come off into the... Goodness me, I'm not having luck with these magnets. I might just stick an arm on and be done with it, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to give them a spray down and sort them out, but see in a minute. Right, so it's all primed up ready. Yeah, that's fantastic sculpt. I love this model. I really do. Some of you are going to notice there's a little devious device here. For those of you that don't know, this is an airbrush. Okay, basically the way it works, I'll take the lid off. Put your medium in your painting there. Yeah, you give it a little bubble up, and then you can pull it back, and it will start spraying. Okay, and the whole purpose of this is to give you the ability to do light effects and loads of different things you can do with it. But for me, painting the cream on the Space Marine is going to be a life-saving thing. Now, if you have an army like Tyranids or something like that, or a Horde army, you could use an airbrush to give them the base colours of everything, and then, you know, go in with a brush and do it. Models like Magnus the Red, with his big wings, Balakor, Great Demons of Zench, you know, anything like big like that, or even anything for fantasy that has like dragons or, you know, some sort of winged beastie. Perfect. You know, you can use it for quite a lot of things. It gives you such an amazing effect. But what I'm going to do is the first time I'm using this airbrush. Okay, so I'm going to set it up, start working away, but I'm going to put it on time lapse, so you don't need to see me sitting there and spraying. I don't know how noisy the compressor is. It could be very noisy, in which case sitting on time lapse is no sound. It's just not easy. But as you saw on the beginning of this video, the magnet did come off. So the magnet is actually here. So I've just decided that's it. Glue it on, done with it. Now Alex did come up with a good idea actually. He said, with all these extra arms, you got all these 25mm bases. Why don't you just glue that onto the arm, onto the base, yeah, and then paint it up as normal. And if for whatever game you want to use it with the assault cannon, all you do is have that behind him. So he's not armed with that; he's armed with that. And it was a very clever idea, because unfortunately I did the magnets and it didn't really work the way I was hoping. It worked at first, but then it sort of just kept coming off. So I got fed up and said glue it on. But anyway, I'm going to set the gun up and then get some gloves on and that, and then we're going to go from there. Now, if it doesn't work out, or I can't get on with it too well, I'll just go to the brush. But hopefully it should be fine, because I've used a portable one before and it was grand. The Space Marine Rhino was actually painted up with the portable one. So anyway, enough of me waffling. I'm going to get on with setting this up and start working away. So as you've just seen, I've given him a, now it's not the best, but I think I put too much thinner into the pot first of all, which is my mistake. But even if I have to go over it with a brush, with some Screaming Skull here and there, it's once over, that's it. I mean, it's still wet here and there, so it's not an issue. But you got a little bit carried away, as you saw. Done some, go with the Space Marines. This other tactical squad that I have, you know, that's one little spray, but that was just the last bits that were in the pot. Absolutely, and that was just a test if I could do those as well, because the plan is I have these guys, I have a box of tactical marines to show you guys how they go together on a let's build, which is very, very simple. I have a Devastator squad to show you how to go together. Again, very simple. I have 20 assault intercessors built. So the airbrush will just eliminate the Screaming Skull. Divide the airbrush will just eliminate so much time on it. I think there's another 10 intercessors put together as well. There's about 40 odd firstborn Marines led that I need to put weapons on, arms on, backpacks and all that. Again, the airbrush will eliminate that, like eliminate the painting time on that. So you said, why are you wearing one glove, one not? I had two gloves on, but the camera wouldn't stop when I was pressing to stop the record. It wouldn't recognise the hand. So if you see, I haven't looked at the playback yet, but if you saw on the hyperlapse just now, if it is jumpy at the end, that's because I'm trying to stop it. But anyway, the compressor is quite loud, but I'm gonna use some corn red, but this is the airbrush corn red. Again, I'm going to do the other side. This is just a time-saving effort, so that if it does get to a point after I've done it that I need to go over it with the corn red on a brush, it's just one coat and that'd be it. But usually is only one coat anyway. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good, pretty sound. Anyway, so I'm going to finish getting that set up and then come back and put it back on hyperlapse. You don't have to see me every second of me doing it. There's a few little mistakes I made there. I don't know, some of you might realise or might not realise, but I was actually using airbrush thinner in the bucket, and I should have been using this, because it says on here airbrush thinner dilutes colour without loss of adhesion, resistance, and blah blah blah. The cleaner says eliminates colour, rests and lubricates the mechanism of the airbrush without causing damage. Yeah, so you know, I was using this first of all, a few drips of this, and I started using a few drips of this in the second one. So that's the first mistake I did. Obviously the airbrush cleaner, when you put it in there, you put a little bit of water in it, mix it up. Now the second mistake I was doing, I should have gone with the corn red first of all and not done the reason why is, if you look at his gun, you see there's little speckles of red on there where I sprayed it, but it looks a little bit blotchy to me. But again, that's not a big issue for me, because all that massive base colour is done. All I have to do, if I'm not happy with a part of it, is come in with some corn red, watered down corn red, and just tidy it up. Same with the Screaming Skull. If I'm not happy with a certain part of it, a little bit of Screaming Skull, and away we go. Now with the Space Marines, I should have done, I learnt this lesson last time I had the handheld airbrush. The Screaming Skull, do that on there, that's fine, but do the corn red by a brush, because it just saves it spraying all over everything, and look at this guy. It's gone over the shoulder, it's gone too much over here, so I tied that up. It's gone into the beak. Yeah, so, but it's a progression forward, because now I've got another tool in my arsenal that I can actually just apply the Screaming Skull so quickly. But anyway, let's go through the wet palette. So I do have some Screaming Skull on there and some Corn Red. They are both the normal paints, no airbrush version. This is Eshin Grey, this is Mechanicus Grey, Lofthorn Blue, White Scars, Lead Belcher, Rich Armour, Beaten Copper, which is an old paint, and this purple is, it's not you, where is it? Here it is. Is this Chemos purple? It's not much that's going to be painted, but just a bit of it is. So let's have a look. The first thing I'm going to do, when you look at there, you see the red just coming through there, so I need to tie that up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mechanicus Grey and I'm going to sort this base out. So I'm going to take Mechanicus Grey and I'm going to do all these massive panels on the base just to darken that down. There's bits of white splattered on there, well, bits of Screaming Skull, bits of red. So I'm going to come in and just darken it all down, but I have to be careful because there's bullet marks on the, there's bullet casings, sorry, on the base. So I'm going to go off camera and do that first. Right, so the base is done. You can actually see the bullet casings in there. I actually went over them with some beaten copper. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come with some lead belcher and I'm going to start picking out things like the wiring. Yeah. Wiring up here. All of this. These are power plant exhaust fumes, exhaust pipe things. All of this rigid pipe in here, little bits in the back there. The gun nozzles themselves, so I'm going to give them a dry brush. Now on the front of the cannons there's that little rigid stuff. I'm not going to touch that, I'm going to leave that because that's going to have something nice on it. These little joint bits in here, so these little joint bits are going to be done as well. Little bits in there. And I'm going to go off camera and do those and then come back to you when I've done it. So here we are. See a nice bit of silver in there. Some more bits in there. So the weapon itself. A few bits on the back. The power plant's done. There's a little chain there, but it goes around and down. But as you can see, the top part of that little block, it's not too great, so I'm going to have to go there with the brush. Now I'm going to get some Rich Armour. And there's where the fun starts, because all of this text on these panels are going to be done in Rich Armour. So it's going to be a painstaking task, but once it's on there and it's done, it's going to look absolutely amazing. Things like this skull. He's got skulls on his knuckles. These bad boys on top. This panel obviously. So I'm going to go off camera and do those and come back to you when I've done them. And here we are, guys. How fantastic that is. I mean, I wasn't sold on this first of all on the Screaming Skull side of it because there was a little bit of spray from the airbrush on there, so I just thought, oh, I didn't like it, but now seeing it on there, it looks absolutely fantastic. This side looks the best. You can see the writing and everything. Absolutely fantastic. But what I'm going to do now, because there's a few skulls on the base, there's one there, there's purity seals, I'm going to go with some Screaming Skull and sort those out, but I'm also going to go over like that bit there and a few of these other bits that I'm not Not too happy with on the arm there. It looks like it's a little bit, I think I had a bit too much of whatever it was in there, then it run down to one side. But again, I'm just a quick once over the brush, that'll sort it out. I'll come back to you then, guys. Right, so here we are, looking nice and fresh. I've actually given the head a little bit of, not a paint of Screaming Skull, but just a sort of dry brush of Screaming Skull. Done these bits as well. Now I'm going to go with that camo purple. Where is the, let me get the name right. Chemos purple. And go with that colour. I just want to say to everyone, don't panic. I'm not going to be using an airbrush every single time. Just certain times and certain things can just have an airbrush on it. I'm going to get this banner paint, this Chemos purple, so I like this colour. Apologise if you can hear that noise in the background. Someone decided they're going to cut the grass. Some of you haven't even noticed it, and you're sitting there and listening. Can I hear that? Can I hear that? Let me hear it. There's someone cutting the grass out there. I love the way this colour sits on top of Screaming Skull. Just gives you such a lovely effect. I'm going to come in with some white scars. This is very watered down, but I'm going to start painting the helmet on the Space Marine. This is going to have 2 or 3 coats just to bring it right up so it's really bright. I'm going to put one coat on and then go off and do another, like leave it dry and do another coat. Right, what am I going to do now? Now I'm going to get some Lothern blue and coming in for the purity seals. I always get asked this question: why do I do my purity seals blue instead of the red? One, I love the colour blue. Not the colour blue, but I love this colour blue. And 2, when you have red armour like that, it's easy to see them. So I'm going to do it to sit for a minute, and then I'm going to give it another coat of the white scars. I don't need to show you that on camera because it's very simple. And the skull on the base is going to get a little bit of a dry brush with the white scars as well. But for all intensive purposes, this guy's finished. It's about ready. But I'm going to, after I've done the white scars, I'm going to take it to the next level. Yeah, to the next stage, past spout readiness. I'm going to come back to you when I'm ready at the stage. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come in with that Eshin Grey. And I'm going to come in, this is a layer paint by the way, so it goes on bright and holds itself down. The first thing I'm going to do is give all of these stones a little, these loose stones a little once over. Just to make them stand out a bit. You really hit that guy now, it's bloody annoying. But it's coming to that time of year, we're going to start cutting the grass just random days of the week. Now what I'm going to do, like this flat panel here, so I'm going to give that a little coat of it. And then these bigger panels, I'm literally going to do this. Now, so you're not going to see very much on it because it's a layer paint, so it will dull itself down, but I'm just going to run the brush along to give it a different type of shade here and there. I'll come back to that and do some more of that again in a minute on the big flat panels now. So see where it's wet? That's all I'm doing. So as that dries, then I'll come over with the light paint again, do it again, 2 maybe 3 times, and it gives me different shades of grey along that way. So now what I'm going to do is take some white scars, and we're going to come in, and we're going to start to slowly edge highlight these purity seal bits. There's a little bit in the middle there, just to give me a little bit of a definition on them. The shield, I did go for a screaming skull on the shield, but it's all just messed up on me a little bit, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Do some of this on here as well. Just drop a little bit on the face. On the face to be really bright, standing out from the rest of the model. So every layer of white scars I add just brightens it right up. See how bright it is now. Of course, is the light paint set will die itself down, so there's no big excitement. That's that. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave this dry for a minute and then come back and just do that again on the base. Now I'm going to come in with some Wazdaka red, which is a layer paint. So on this corn red, I'm going to go over all the bits that I want to layer up. But as you see on this bit here, I've left the edge the darkest, the corn red. And that's what I'm going to do. So like this panel here, I'm going to bring that up nice. Just try and leave the edge the darkest. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. Just enough to give you an idea so you know exactly what I'm doing. This Wazdaka red is a layer paint, so it will go on bright and dull itself down. I'm going to crack on with the rest of it off camera, without knocking the camera, sorry guys. So there it is, all laid up with Wazdaka red. Now I'm going to take some Screaming Skull, I'm going to take some off the brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and dry brush this area here. Yeah, along this edge. Along this rough, rugged rock. These little bits at the front here are going to get a little bit of dry brush. Now I'm going to come straight in with some white scars again, and I'm going to do a wet dry brush. So basically I'm dry brushing it, but I've just placed another colour on. Both of them are layer paints, so they're going to go on bright and dull themselves down. I've had little speckles in there, and I'm going to get a black paint and just dim that in. So guys, thank you for watching. I've enjoyed painting this model. I've enjoyed using the airbrush for well, I say it's not the first time I've used an airbrush. I had an old portable one, the battery in and the gun was on top, and that was great, apart from it kept running out of power. But this is plugged into the mains, so I'm actually very pleased with the way it's turned out. Now, again, I need a bit more experience with the airbrush. And don't panic, not every video is going to have the airbrush in here. Okay, some videos will, some videos won't. Likes of this, yes. Likes of me painting the Space Marine unit up, I will airbrush the Screaming Skull beforehand, before I start filming, so you won't see none of that. You'll just see it as done, but I'll tell you that I've done it with the airbrush. Likes of like the Rogal Dawn, yeah, he would be airbrushed, but not with Screaming Skull, obviously, but he'd be airbrushed with something else, maybe like a silver or something like that, or dark green or something, just to cover vast areas in very quickly. The other only option is contrast for model S size. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for voting. Subscribe to the channel, guys, if you haven't already done so, because at the moment this is just mind boggling. There is 47.3 of my viewers that are not subscribed to the channel, which is absolutely bonkers. So guys, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. It helps the channel out in a massive way. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any content I put up. And for everyone else, a massive thank you to all of you for watching the videos and supporting the channel for as long as you have. Guys, I'm going to bring down and show some pretty pictures. But until next time, take it easy.